Welcome to IBC 2019. I'm Joe O'Halloran, Editor-in-Chief of Rapid TV News, and I'm here with Anthony Smith-Chaigneau, Senior Director of Marketing of Nagra.
Hi.
Welcome, Anthony.
Thank you.
Now, we've got Apple Plus, we've got Disney Plus. None of these existed in the last 6 months. We've got 4K, we've got 5G, we've got the IoT. Tell me, what's going on with the TV industry right now?
Well, it's very dynamic. You must understand that. And as you said, everything that you talk about, there are many facets. So there's, if you look at it, there's a big change in technology. There's a big change in the direct-to-consumer and content, actually content moving to the consumer. And then off the back of that, there's a huge amount of data, and people, I think, are starting to understand more about the business. And people like, as you said, Apple and Disney have decided that they have got sufficient catalog, sufficient reach that they can probably do a direct-to-consumer proposition. And at the same time, the pay TV industry is still very, very buoyant. It's still quite positive, and it's looking to also integrate. So I think the customers never had it so good. I mean, you get TV anywhere, anyhow, at any time, even on airplanes now, fantastic catalogs of content.
Well, if the customers have never had it so good, have you never had it so complicated?
That's a good point. But, Nagra's core expertise is in servicing the industry. And over time, it's gone from very basic 4 channels right up to what we just talked about now. So we've adapted along the way, we've anticipated changes, and actually, in some cases, of course, are ahead of the change.
One of the things about anticipating change has been research from the Pay TV Innovation Forum. Very good research of Europe, LATAM and globally. Now, a lot of the key standouts were centred around attitudes towards over the top.
Yes.
And a general optimism.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the optimism is rightly so. So as the pay TV operators have looked at how they can develop on further and going into an all IP environment, this takes us back to the technology point again. And that then means reach. And so you can have your pay TV service and even go off net. So they've embraced the new technologies and they're adapting the solutions to fit the market needs, because everybody, no matter where you are in the world, access to telco, 5G, Wi-Fi, smart telephones, smart devices, they're the norm in many households today. So we have to address all that, and I think the pay TV industry, and especially Nagra, has done that with the portfolio of products we have.
Do you see the customers you're dealing with having to undertake a reinvention just based on the research findings?
I would say no. That's a very interesting question. I wouldn't say they're reinventing themselves. I think they're changing with the times and going to where the customers are, which was more dynamic than just having a TV in the home. So in fact, as you see, the interesting content is enormous, and we have to adapt. So we take the content, and it goes back to the old mantra of anytime, any place, anywhere, which is a reality today. So they're not reinventing themselves per se, but adapting. It's an evolution, and they're taking OTT as a prime example. Once upon a time, you just had an extra button added onto your user interface. Now you can adapt the product and the offer that you want for an in-home experience on a big fancy TV now, right down to your mobile experience and on the move. And so they're taking advantage of all of that and all the smarts that are in the industry today, and Nagra is very much at the forefront of that.
Now, looking at where TV is going, just to step back a bit of where TV probably was and still is, what's going to happen to good old linear TV then?
That's linear TV. Everybody thinks it's the death of linear TV. Linear TV is dying. Interestingly, I just saw a report, also a message coming out, that even Netflix is experimenting with episodic series, and that's going back to having to have an appointment with your television all over again. I think Hulu's also doing that. Now, linear TV is actually getting a boost in some places. So if you look at the United States of America, in the ATSC3 world, where they're adapting new technologies, people have actually, what they've noticed is because of the fragmentation and the complication and having to content stack, some people are cutting the cord and saying, look, I want TV my way, but they still want their local linear channels. So they're moving, antenna sales are up, they're moving to linear TV and then content stacking. So pay TV has to contend with that and start to adapt, and that is probably where they're having to look. Is business models probably have to be reinvented. Not the technology itself, but business modeling is one of the important aspects.
One of the things you have here at IBC is the Open TV suite.
Yes.
Now, a crucial element of that is Android TV in both parts of the future. Tell us more about the deployment and the use cases of the Open.
We've been deploying Android TV since very early days, 2014. Euskaltel and LinkNet in Indonesia, a very, very good partner of ours. That's grown enormously. The OpenTV suite, as we call it, is very much the core TV platform. And when you marry that with Android and bring all the Android smarts on top, you get a very, very compelling service. What we can do with that, and what people can do with that now, is really experiment in how to package and bundle to the partners. And one of the key features of OpenTV platform, which is the business service platform, is the content management system. And that means that with that management system and the data analytics that we provide with that, is that there's a deep understanding now of what's going on in the network, what the customers are watching on what devices and how they consume the content. And what they can do then, an operator gets a lot more information and can do what we call active content monetization. That's really looking at all the content, how it performs, and how they can adapt if they need to bring things up front. Interactive advertising, for example, and all of the elements that are there for them to grow their business. This needs lots of information, lots of data, lots of understanding, and we have all that smart in the system that allows them to grow and develop onwards.
Now, I hate to put you on the spot, but given no one's predicted what's happened in the last 6 months,
right?
What's going to happen in the next 6
months?
Next 6 months, yeah. How can you guess what's going to come next?
How can I guess what's coming next? It's a good question. Again, each sector has got some change, some form of change. We've got 5G coming. As that deploys, that brings different elements to the table. You've got, as you said, terrestrial, it's going IP. You've got DVB-T still very dominant in the world. In the ATSC3 world, it's IP in the sky. That's going to bring enormous change for the broadcasters there, who are going to be able to do things that they couldn't do before. So as we develop more, and again, taking our Insight product, and we develop knowledge, and I think knowledge is key. I think what you're going to see at the end is things are going to be more fine-tuned, more honed. Technology aside, it's still about the business, it's still about the delivery of content and connecting people to the content they love.
And solving a business problem.
And solving a business problem, exactly.
Well, we look forward to see what problems you're going to solve.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Anthony. Thank you for watching.